All right, let's get right into it. If you're here, it's probably because you're just done with the old advice. You're ready to stop fighting with yourself and actually start understanding the system that makes you, well, you. So get ready, because pretty much everything you think you know about making a change in your life, it's about to get flipped completely upside down. Think about it. For years, the number one piece of advice has always been the same. Just try harder, push through it. You just need more willpower. But what if I told you that's not just wrong, but it might be the worst possible advice you could ever get? What if all that effort, all that struggle, is actually the very thing holding you back? So, first things first, we have to tear down the biggest myth in the entire self-help world, and that is the willpower lie. You know the one, this idea that you have some kind of limited fuel tank of discipline, and when you fail, it's just because you ran out of gas? It's a really neat story, but it's just not true. And I want to be super clear here. The actual science behind this whole idea is, well, it's collapsing. You might have heard of ego depletion. It was the foundation for this whole willpower is a muscle thing. But those studies, they just don't hold up anymore. So that feeling of being totally drained, it's not a fuel shortage. It's something else going on entirely. See, we've been fighting the wrong war this whole time. The lie tells us to just throw more effort at the problem, to grind it out, and then when it doesn't work, we just blame ourselves for not having enough willpower. But the truth? The goal isn't more effort. It's actually less internal conflict. It's not about the grind. It's about awareness. And listen, it is not your fault. It's what happens when different parts of your system are trying to do two different things at once. Now that is the kind of thinking that changes the game. Every single time you've quit something or felt like you failed, it wasn't because you were weak. It was a battle inside your own system, and a deeper, more fundamental part of you just won the fight. So what is the system anyway? Okay, here's the key. You have to stop thinking of yourself as a car that just needs more gas in the tank. Instead, I want you to start picturing yourself as a really finely tuned thermostat, an internal control system. This right here is the core of it all. It's like the operating manual for your brain that you never got. The whole idea is based on something called Perceptual Control Theory. Just think of your self-image, who you believe you are, as the set temperature on that thermostat. Your brain will then work constantly, automatically, 24/7 to make sure your reality, your actual life, matches that setting. And this is the light bulb moment. Your system isn't broken. You're not weak. You're not lazy. Your system is working perfectly. The problem isn't that the thermostat is busted. The problem is you're trying to force the room to be 72 degrees when the thermostat is locked in at 65. The system is always going to win that fight. Just let that sink in for a second. What we call self-sabotage, it's just your system doing its job. It sees you acting in a way that doesn't match your core identity, and it hits the brakes to correct you, to bring you back in line. It's not a bug, my friend. It's a feature. Okay, so if the system is working perfectly, why does it feel so awful, right? Why does it feel like you're just stuck, fighting yourself every single day? Well, the answer has a name. This is the real enemy. Not a lack of willpower, but internal conflict. It happens when you decide to do something new, like, say, you start going to the gym, but that action clashes with a deeper, more powerful part of your identity that says, no, I'm not an athletic person. Your system flags that mismatch, and it feels like a painful error message in your brain. And here's exactly how that loop plays out every single time. 1, you take the action. 2, that action creates a conflict with your identity, which feels wrong, kind of fake. 3, your system registers this as a painful error. And 4, what does the system do to fix an error? It corrects. You quit the gym. You stop the project. Not because you're weak, but because your system is trying to get rid of that painful error signal and get back to the comfort of the old you. This is the new mantra. This is what you need to start telling yourself. You are not lazy. You are in conflict. See, that's a diagnosis, not a judgment. It takes you out of that place of beating yourself up and puts you in a place of curiosity. It means the problem isn't with your character, it's with the way your goals are set up. So, if pushing harder is the wrong answer, then what's the right one? If the real problem is some hidden conflict, how in the world do you find it and fix it? Okay, this is where we shift from understanding the problem to actually doing something about it. What this means is we've all been working at the wrong level. We have to stop trying to force the behavior, which is all downstream. The real power, the real leverage, is way upstream. It's in your awareness. You gotta stop slamming your foot on the gas and instead take a look at the map to figure out where your system is actually trying to go. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If there's some higher-level goal that's torpedoing all my best efforts, how am I supposed to find it? It feels like it's running in the background somewhere. Well, you're right. We need a special kind of question to poke the system and see what it's really doing. The tool we're going to use is a sort of diagnostic probe. It's designed to cut through all the noise and all the things you think you want and get straight to what your system is truly trying to do. And we call it the impossible question. Here's exactly how you use it. First, just state your goal. Simple enough. I want to be more athletic. Second, imagine the most ideal, impossible version of that. You wave a magic wand, and boom, you get all the benefits with zero effort. The weight just melts away. The book is suddenly written. Now for the most important part. Listen. Don't think, listen. What does that future actually feel like? What does it give you? Because this is the kind of stuff the question reveals. The goal you stated was be athletic, but maybe the real goal your system is chasing is to be admired by my friends. You think you want to write a novel, but maybe what you really want is to succeed with a clever trick. The impossible question exposes what your system is truly running on. And you have to understand, this isn't some wishful thinking or visualization exercise. This is a diagnostic scan. It reveals the real temperature your internal thermostat is set to. You thought you were trying to control for fitness, but it turns out you were actually controlling for social approval. And guess what? Those two goals demand totally different strategies. This right here becomes your new rulebook. For years, you've been fighting the mechanism, your habits, your behaviors, your so-called laziness. It is time to stop. The real work is to get curious about the function. What is this behavior really doing for you? What deep down goal is it trying to achieve? And so that's where this leaves us. The path to real, lasting change doesn't start with more discipline or a better planner. It starts with a better question. Stop trying to jam a new behavior into a system that's built to reject it. Instead, get radically curious about what your system is already trying to do and why. I promise you, the answer to that question, well, it changes everything.